Okay, so welcome to Tuesday meditation. You may hear some sounds in the background on the recording. A couple of some trees and branches came down in a big wind the other night, and so we have a chainsaw. So we meditate anyway. The world is always busy around us, and what we are trying to do is find peace within ourselves, regardless of the energies that are happening in our environment. And so we be at peace with the work of others and the sounds that they make as they walk their path and do what they believe to be the best that they can do. So relax, be calm, and be still. Breathe your way into the meditation. Breathe in your intention. Create your intention to meditate. So we are going to create conditions of peace within our earthly vehicle. This is what we do with our meditation in the first instance. We create the conditions. And we do this by using our concentration, being able to set an intention and follow that intention. And meditation is the extension of that into a longer period. And then we are going to move into a contemplation, which takes meditation further along the path and uses meditation as an instrument for our own well-being and evolution, and a way of engaging increasingly with the idea of service, which leads us further along the path. So breathe and relax. Relax on the out-breath and allow your breathing to just be slightly deeper into the abdomen and slightly slower, and maybe even slower on the out-breath. And this establishes a degree of control over your earthly vehicle as intended by your higher consciousness. So enjoy this meditation as we contemplate our fifth foundation, the hierarchy and its nature. We've contemplated the first foundation, that God loves all at all times, and we are an aspect of God. The second foundation was the law of rebirth. So we reincarnate. All life comes into expression and then out of expression periodically. So we see this, or can see this, as the way that we reincarnate. Foundations 3 and 4 were the paired ways of learning, which are free will and karma. We have free will within the context of the law of equalization, which is karma. So we learn through expressing ourselves as a free will consciousness and slowly discovering over many lifetimes how to do this in a more divine way. And so we come to our fifth foundation, which is the reality of the hierarchy and something of its nature. And this hierarchy is that which supports our journey. As we sit within the context of the other foundations, the hierarchy is another foundational aspect of our existence, and yet it helps us as an individual to, and as a species, to navigate that context. So, Father, Mother, God, creator of all things, we ask that you gift to us the presence of those beings of the light that can most contribute to our understanding, our contemplation of the hierarchy. And we welcome all those beings of the light that you send to us, that align their will with your will, and enter this space in a more complete and conscious way, so that they may influence our experience in a more complete way. So in this protected space, where we invoke the light of our own souls, we welcome those beings that exist on the plane of our own soul, and all the other higher planes that choose to interact with us today in either a very subtle energetic way, or maybe in a way that we can register with our senses, either our lower senses or our higher senses. And so we are honored to receive the presence of these beings of the light. So contemplate that a proportion of these beings of the light will be members of the hierarchy, or they may be workers that align with the intention of the hierarchy. So contemplate that this hierarchy exists on the plane of soul, or exists within the kingdom that occupies the consciousness space above the human kingdom. So this is the soul kingdom, or the spiritual kingdom in our context. So the hierarchy exists on the planes of consciousness which constitute that kingdom, or that kingdom describes. So contemplate that this kingdom has been in place and established on Earth as a planetary hierarchy for something like 18 million years. So from the early expressions of humanity on this earth to the present and moving forward into the future, the hierarchy is there. So contemplate that it is difficult to understand the nature of the hierarchy in any complete way because it requires a level of consciousness that is only attained as we enter into the soul kingdom or the spiritual kingdom, which is on the same level of consciousness as the hierarchy. We are limited in our capacity to understand their nature, their work, their interactions, the integrations, the synthesis that they are. So contemplate that it is a synthesis of energies and forces designed to forward planetary evolution. This is a hierarchy of beings that synthesize, work together, integrate with the purpose of evolving the planet. Planetary evolution necessarily includes human evolution. Contemplate then that this hierarchy, these beings, this accumulation of beings of a particular consciousness, provide a link between all that is on this planet and the solar hierarchy. The solar hierarchy being inclusive of the sun and the central consciousness of this solar system, the sacred planets, the non-sacred planets, and all the life that exists on and within and between. So the solar system has its own hierarchy, which will be most likely described as that accumulation of consciousnesses that are focused on the evolution of the solar system. So see that our planetary evolution is nested within the evolution of the solar system. just as our solar system is nested within the evolution of an even greater life. And just as the differentiated lives on the earth, the different species and types, their evolution is nested within the planetary evolution. And so there is coordination, there is a oneness, a synthesis that is playing out, within which all lives are evolving. So contemplate that there are written for us as a part of our understanding 4 tasks or actions that this hierarchy that resides within the spiritual kingdom, the kingdom above ours, has 4 definable lines of activity. The first being to encourage and promote an increase in the self-consciousness of all life. Increase and encourage the self-consciousness of all life. This is profoundly linked to the evolution of humanity. And that the evolution of an individual and the path of an individual is towards increasingly self-consciousness, understanding of self, know thyself. The second activity of the hierarchy is to increase, encourage an increase in the consciousness of the lower 3 kingdoms in nature. So the hierarchy plays a role, but not in any small way through the evolution of the human kingdom, but plays a role in increasing the consciousness of the animal kingdom, the plant kingdom, and the mineral kingdom. And we accept that the levels of consciousness within these kingdoms is hard for us to understand, although we can go some way. The third activity of the hierarchy is to transmit the will of the planetary logos, so the life that is this planet. So transmit this to the lower kingdoms. So this includes the human kingdom. And this constitutes the energy behind the plan of God for this planet, for our species, for the other species. Transmit the will. And the fourth activity of the hierarchy is to set an example for humanity to follow. All members of the hierarchy have passed through the phase of being in the human kingdom, and they have moved on, transcended the human kingdom, and are now a part of the spiritual kingdom, the kingdom above ours. And this path lays open for all humans. This is a slow, structured, evolutionary path that only a few have managed to navigate in the context of this earth. So they provide, in a way, an archetype, a model for our own personal evolution, which in aggregate constitutes a model for the evolution of the species. So contemplate that the hierarchy is our key support. It is the model by which we can learn to grow into more that we are. It is the destination of our evolutionary effort. It is the pinnacle of human endeavor and achievement and attainment. It's the end point of human evolution. And it is available and open to us all, and it is ultimately inevitable for all. This is our destiny. This is our path. And the hierarchy is in constant contact and synthesizing activity so as to bring us knowledge, information, encouragement, coordination, orchestration to give us the best chance to become the perfected human that we are destined to become in the shortest time frame, the most appropriate time frame. So as we end this meditation, know that these 5 foundations are immutable, whether we like it or not, whether we understand it or not, whether we know of it or not. These are the things that are in place. These things provide the laws of our existence, of our evolution. This provides the framework within which we can evolve, and it constitutes the framework that we cannot escape. And the more we understand it, the more we will transcend the need to continue along the path of misunderstanding, and we will move into the halls of wisdom and of learning, and will become greater contributors to our own evolution and the evolution of others. So I thank those beings of the light that are always there, available in a way only the way that they interact with us depends on our energy, our point of evolution. Whether we can hear, perceive, register their emanations depends on us entirely. So I ask these beings of the light to support each human such that they attain the conditions by which they can comprehend and understand the truths of our existence, and to receive and register the support and help that is open to all of us. So, Father, Mother, God, Creator of all things, we thank you for all that you are and all that we are. And we commit to helping all other lives to evolve within the context of this planet. We honour the divine in all. Thank you.